What is going on, guys? It is Britt. I'm here with another Pop Culture Crisis movie review. I'm here to talk to you today about the Expend4bles 4, and I'll say right off the bat, this is going to be a difficult one for me to do because Expend4bles 1 and 2 are two of my favorite movies of all time, and then, you know, paradoxically, like, I don't think I ever was able to finish the third one, but I just have such a soft spot for those first two Expend4bles movies. You've got Sylvester Stallone as Barney Ross, you've got Jason Statham as Lee Christmas. Those first two, you know, those first films, there's Terry Crews, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, all of these guys. You've got Arnie makes cameos. Bruce Willis is in the movie. You got Kelsey Grammer, who shows up in the third one. Wesley Snipes, who shows up in the third one. The reason I love those first two Expend4bles movies is that they embrace all of the tropes that made action movies great in past decades, and it pays a lot of homage to them. It uses them in a way that doesn't thumb its nose at them. In fact, it just embraces so much of the camp, and it just works. And in this film, the problem is you do not have Terry Crews, you do not have Jet Li. Bruce Willis, of course, did not come back after the third one. You don't have Arnie showing up. You don't have the unbelievable cameo like you did involving Chuck Norris. That second Expend4bles movie, somebody described it perfectly once. It really is the Avengers of action movies, and it's very hard to top that. In this film, you've got a new group of, you've got more new Expend4bles coming in to join Jason Statham and Sylvester Stallone to join Christmas and Barney on the team. You've got 50 Cent makes his debut as Easy Day. Megan Fox debuts as Gina. You've got, who else? Andy Garcia comes in. He basically he plays a character named Marsh. He takes on Bruce Willis's role as the government contact. Randy Couture is back as Toll Road. So you've got about half the team coming back, half the team new. And the problem is I just don't feel that it had the chemistry between these actors that they had in those initial films. And that chemistry, that camaraderie that those characters share is really what makes the film work. The other big problem here is, and I am getting into spoilers, so you have been warned, spoiler alert ahead. The big storyline in this film is that Barney Ross fakes his death because he has to flush out a bad guy who's been in hiding for 25 years. Now, the problem is, you as the audience, you are not privy to that information, so he is off screen. Stallone is off screen for about 75% of this film, and when one of the biggest selling points of your franchise is the charisma, is the gravitas that a lead character, a lead actor like Sylvester Stallone brings to a franchise, you lose out on a lot because one of the biggest selling points, it is the relationship, it is the back and forth, brotherhood between Ross and Christmas, who are best friends, they're brothers, they've been fighting alongside each other for years and years. And in these films, the Expend4bles are a group of United States mercenaries who go and do a lot of the black bag, dirty work that the U.S. government doesn't want its fingerprints on. And there's no, this movie is no exception. The problem is you go through this film without Stallone through most of it. Now, from what I understand, this movie was originally pitched as a Lee Christmas solo movie. It was supposed to be a spin-off of the franchise, basically starring Jason Statham. And one of the problems is, it seems like what they were trying to do is they went with that idea to start, and a lot of the movie feels that way, but then instead they kind of backed out and made it an Expend4bles 4, so the movie never quite knows what the hell it wants to be. Does it want to be a solo story about Christmas going to get revenge for the death of his friend, which is really the main plot point of this film? After the supposed death of Barney, the Expend4bles are sent to get revenge for the death of Barney and retrieve a nuclear triggers that have been put on a boat out in the ocean. And the movie doesn't know what it wants to be, and the new characters that have come in to join the team, they don't meld as well as the originals did. Now, the other upsides here is you do got, now I always mess up this guy's name, so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Iko Uwais, who is, he plays Ramat. You may know him from the actor from The Raid, which is, of course, a legendary action movie. The Raid 1 and 2, those are both, so it keeps in line with the Expend4bles franchise use of bringing in amazing, legendary action performers for their franchise. They also have Tony Jaa, who joins the film, and of course he is also another legendary action performer. So they've got these great actors. You also have a newcomer named Lash, played by Levi Tran, and the chemistry between the good guys it just isn't there in the same way. It doesn't work the way it worked when Terry Crews was there, when Hail Caesar was there. It doesn't work the way that he used to meld with Toll Road and with Gunner, which is played by Dolph Lundgren. You do have Dolph Lundgren back, which is one of the big upsides to this movie as well. And the other problem is, look, there's a very clear double cross. You see it coming from a mile away. Again, spoilers, this is done by Andy Garcia. And the real lost opportunity here, the real sad thing, is that it would have been great if they could have at least gotten Kelsey Grammer back. I think he played Bonaparte in part 3. If they could have gotten Kelsey Grammer back, unfortunately, they were never going to be able to get Bruce Willis back because, as we know, he didn't show up in the third one because of contract disputes. Perhaps that could have been remedied this time around, but as we know, Bruce Willis has since retired from acting because of his aphasia diagnosis. And when the very, very obvious double cross comes, Andy Garcia just doesn't carry it in the way that I think Bruce Willis or Kelsey Grammer could have played that role. Now, remember, I did not see, I never made it through Expend4bles 3. I adore the first two. I don't, remember or know what happens to Bonaparte in part 3, but I love those first two. I would have loved to have been able to see Bruce Willis come back, but of course that's not possible. And I really think that because I knew that that wasn't what was happening, it really felt like that part fell flat to me. The other thing here is that they really do push Megan Fox to the foreground. Now, she is an absolutely gorgeous woman. She fits in the context of an action movie. She's sexy. She fits in. But when you put a 105-pound woman who looks like a supermodel at the head of this group of mercenaries, which has previously been, run by a guy with the size and stature of Stallone, it just reeks of modern day Hollywood. It reeks of producer's notes to put her front and center. Now, they always incorporated the female characters so well in these movies because at the end of the day, this is a guys movie. And one of the things is you have to buy in to these franchises. And when you're watching a bunch of these guys cracking wise as enormous explosions and bombs go off around them, you kind of have to have that visual image of somebody who looks like an action hero to buy into the fact that it's a big, enormous, brutish-looking dude firing guns and cracking one-liners with other people. And you need the charisma, you need the cachet that those past action heroes brought. Now, when you see a Chuck Norris crack one-liners, it's because you know all of what Chuck Norris has done before. You buy into it. When you see Stallone, Arnie, who also was in this franchise, it makes sense because they have all of this history in the genre and all of the physicality that seems to work with it, even though they're aging. It just works. In this one, you watch this and Megan Fox was better utilized in the Transformers movies because in those films, her and Sam, they kind of they have to get lucky, right? They're hapless humans fighting next to gigantic robot automobiles. So they have to just work to survive. And that really worked in those franchises. It's hard to buy into it here without feeling like what you're watching is part of something that was, handed down from Hollywood studio notes. So I think there was just a lot of missed opportunities to not have that relationship between Christmas and Barney front and center of the whole movie because that's such a big reason to be there, especially without Jet Li back, especially without Terry Crews back. So it doesn't quite work for me. That second Expend4bles movie really is the Avengers of action movies. So if I was going to give you guys a recommendation, I would say since it just doesn't have it there, the other big thing is, I don't know what it is, guys, but my goodness, CGI has fallen so far down in recent years. That first Expend4bles movie, I don't know if it's because they kept the CGI to a minimum and they did as much in-camera work as possible, but that CGI in the first Expend4bles movie is hundreds of light years better than what I saw on screen tonight. And that was the big thing that really took me out of it. There is so much unbelievably obvious green screen, unbelievably obvious blue screen, stuff that just really, really takes you out of the film. And when the first two movies don't have that problem, you make it really, really difficult for people to stay engaged. So if I had to give you a recommendation, I would say skip this one at the theaters, maybe wait for it to come out on streaming. I know Expendables 1, 2, and 3 are all on Peacock because I watched the first two last night. I'm going to have to go ahead and just, like, maybe because I didn't like this one so much, I'll finally watch that third one and get through it, knowing that the fourth one just didn't really work for me. If you are a diehard Expendables fan, maybe you go. But otherwise, if you're just looking for a no-brainer action movie to check out on a weekend, maybe wait for this one to hit streaming. That's my recommendation for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back with more movie reviews soon. Check out Pop Culture Crisis. We are live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. We talk celebrities, we talk pop culture, we talk movies, we talk television. Come hang out with us during the week, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.